Good morning, everybody. This is Jeffrey Bershaw from Avanti Destinations. Welcome to our What's New in Avanti's Europe for 2017. I've got the Europe product team here. The product manager lead is Megan Ball. We have Gaby Anderson, who covers the UK and Spain and Portugal. We've got Chris Collinsworth, who's Central Europe and Scandinavia. And then all the other romantic places besides Spain and Portugal as Tami Cortez, and she's going to be covering a lot of great new product in Italy as well as Croatia. So we got a lot to cover in a short period of time. If you have any questions, please click on the question box. It's got a little question mark and a comment bubble, and just type in your questions, and we'll get to them at the end of this webinar. So really quickly, this wonderful cover of Edinburgh. This is Gaby's product, and so this is a cover of our brochure. If you haven't gotten our brochures, you can get to our website, click on the Order Brochures, Download Flyers link under Agent Resources, and order your brochures. For those of you who aren't too familiar with Avanti, we are your one-stop travel source. We're an FIT tour operator, and this big long list is all the things that we're able to provide you, the travel advisor, travel agent, when you're working with Avanti, as far as, air, car, rail, lots of tours and sightseeing, unique options. We do some small ship cruises, predominantly in Latin America and Asia, but we're going to cover some of the new small escorted group options that we have for you and your clients. And we do a lot of pre and post cruise as well, and it's always important for you to know you can add a travel agent fee to your bookings, either online or through our reservations. As you can see, Europe has grown a bit since 2016. This is a 2017 product line. We'll feature two of the new countries that we've added this year, Malta and Slovenia, and we'll just cover everything that essentially is new for 2017. Lots of different options. We've got two new countries, as I mentioned. As you can see, the product team has been working hard to ensure that we've got a lot of great new 3-, 4-, and 5-star properties. We're not going to cover everything that's been added, but if you look at the brochure, you've got this wonderful icon that says new, and that gives you an inclination of how much new stuff that we're able to provide you and your clients traveling to Europe in 2017. So we're going to start off in the north. We're basically going to follow the brochure from front to back. We're going to start off with Gaby here in the UK and England in particular on this one. Gaby?
Thanks, Jeff. So part of the task here is, at least on my side, is to try to get people to explore more of England. So a couple of the new packages, or 3 of the new packages that I have for next year actually, hopefully will inspire people to do that. So the first one is Discover the North, which takes people, they will have a start in London, of course, with 3 nights. They'll have a chance to explore the capital, and then head north by rail to Newcastle, where they will be met by a private driving guide who will stay with them for 4 days so that they can explore the Northumberland area. They stay in a very nice, beautiful little place called Linden Hall. And some of the suggested itinerary, now this is with a private driving guide, mind you, so your clients can actually see and request to do the things that they want to do, but we do have some suggested sites. Of course, Newcastle being part of one of the tours that they would do, Hadrian's Wall, and then exploring a little bit of the Scottish borders as well. When they return, they will be dropped off in Durham, which has a beautiful cathedral. And then they would catch the train back from Durham back to London, or from there they have the flexibility of continuing up north, maybe to explore Scotland.
Cool.
The next package is Elegant England, and this combines London, 3-night stay with Thornbury Castle, which is pictured here. It's a beautiful Tudor-style castle, actually. A little bit of history here with that one. One of the rooms actually hosted oh my God, I forget his name. King, famous from the Tudors, Henry VIII. Thank you. Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn actually had one of their honeymoon nights here. So pretty big big
Very
deal there.
romantic then.
Yes, exactly. Even though it didn't last. But this will be similar, I guess, to the previous one. Although on this one, actually, they will have the private driving guide take them straight from London to Thornbury. Along the way, they can explore the Cotswolds. You know, again, this is all flexible, but you know, some of the suggested itineraries could be, you know, some of the Downton Abbey filming locations, for example, on the way there, and then on the return, you know, stopping through Salisbury, Stonehenge, that sort of thing before they get back into London. And then my third very exciting package for England is West Country Wonders. Again, starting in London, and then on this particular package, again, it would include round-trip rail out to the West Country. So they would catch a train from London, go to Plymouth, where they will be met by a private driving guide. They'll get a tour of Plymouth. They'll get a tasting of the Plymouth Gin Distillery, which is fantastic. I did that tour myself, and it was very informative. I'm not even a gin fan, but I really, really enjoyed it. From there, they can explore a bit of the West Country, Cornwall, Devon. Some of the places suggested would be Dartmoor National Park, Tintagel, which is actually supposed to be where King Arthur was born, Port Isaac, which is very famous for Doc Martin, which is a British TV show, and then a little bit of England D-Day history as well, with a visit to Slapton Sands, which is where they actually held some of the training exercises before D-Day. So that's possible suggested itineraries.
So when we're putting these together, what if someone wanted to spend a little bit more time in Devonshire or down in Cornwall or something like that?
It is flexible, of course. We would have to request, you know, the private driving guide to have an extra day with them, for example, or if they wanted to then pick up a car, for example, and then be on their own and maybe drive from there to, you know, Wales, for example, or something like that. It's absolutely flexible. In this particular case, the rail is normally round trip, so they could go back to London, for example, or we could book the train to go to Cardiff or somewhere else based on, you know, where they want to continue on.
So lots of flexibility.
Yes. So speaking of Wales, this is a very exciting one for us. It's a bit of an active package, which we didn't have before, and this is actually a hiking trip in northern Wales, which would start either from with a round-trip transfer from either Manchester or Liverpool, which would be the gateway to get in, and then they'll drop them off in Colwyn Bay. The package itself includes luggage transfers and daily breakfast, and of course they'll get an information packet, which is, you know, chock full of information and maps. And it's about a 13-mile hike per day. The difficulty I was told was between easy and moderate. There are some hills, but it's certainly not a difficult hike at all, but with stunning views. Obviously, with this, I think it's worth it to mention that it's seasonal for sure, because you know, probably April through October is what's recommended for this, just because of weather, and don't want to be hiking in Welsh winter. So.
Alrighty. North.
Yeah, north. Again, there's a bit of a theme here, trying to push people to explore outside of the norm here. So the North Coast 500 is sort of Scotland's answer to our Route 66, for example. So you're going to be exploring sort of some rugged areas of the Scottish Highlands. Lots of gorges and gardens, distilleries, of course, the Culloden battlefield, which is actually kind of a very important part of history. You start from the Inverness area and you just drive all around the edge of the north coast, all over Scotland, the Highlands of Scotland, I should say. We would include a very nice map which actually details some of the points of interest and places of people, you know, that they could stop along the way.
500 miles or 500 kilometers?
Kilometers, yes. So.
But I think even the Prince said that this is like one of his favorite things to do. And
there's plenty of videos actually on YouTube for those of you who are interested. There's actually some really good promotional stuff that you can go and look on YouTube to look at some of the videos that have been made just by by normal travelers who've done this, and they just thought it was just the most impressive driving tour that they've done. It's actually rugged enough that it would be good, I think, also for like really kind of young millennial type travelers just to explore.
Cool.
Another sort of adventurous package here. This is called the Celtic Adventure. It pairs Dublin and Belfast. They would actually do a 2-hour kayaking tour in Dublin, so it does require a little bit of a fitness level there. There's also a skyline tour in Croke Park in Dublin, which is all along the top of the stadium, and you actually get some really outstanding views of Dublin. Once you're in Belfast, you'll get to do a Giant's Causeway tour, and also just outside of Belfast is this new Gobbins coastal pathway, which is this pathway that was built and it hugs the shore. It's probably not for somebody who has a fear of heights or falling into the coast. So, but it's really interesting.
There's railing.
Yeah, no, of course, there's railing, and I mean, it's not certainly dangerous, obviously, but it's yeah.
Exciting.
Exciting for sure.
Right. More Ireland.
More Ireland. So this is actually our way to showcase the best of Ireland's food, which actually we just had a fam trip of Avanti agents visit Ireland, and one of their impressions that they came back with was how good the Irish food was. And I think that that's an impression that many people have here, which is that in Ireland they only eat potatoes and cabbage, which is certainly not true anymore. But in this case, a lot of the visits or the stays are actually kind of in the southwestern part. It's a self-drive package, so you'll drive down along toward the Kinsale and Dingle and Connemara area. You get to visit, again, a storehouse, of course, in Dublin, Butler's Chocolate, which is delicious. They have a whole experience thing where you can actually make your own chocolates. So it's a kind of a hands-on experience. Also visit the Cork Butter Museum, and then a wine museum, and a little bit of a baking class at the Ballyknocken Cookery School, and some farm visits. The farm visits are actually seasonal as well, so it could just depend if they're open or not, but that would be something that we would really try to do. And then Irish whiskey, of course, can't leave Ireland without doing a tasting for that. So.
Big trip.
It's a big trip, but I think people would definitely, yeah, I would do this in a heartbeat.
Okay, all right, so we're on to Megan in France.
Yes. So if you are following along in the brochure, we're up to page 32 now, and starting with Paris and Provence for foodies. It's a new package pairing Paris and Avignon, doing a cooking class with market visit in each city. And what I like about this package is that the cooking class experiences are different. In Paris, you're going with the chef to a local market, a small local market, and then going to the chef's apartment, either in Montparnasse or in the right bank near Père Lachaise Cemetery, and learning in the chef's own personal kitchen. In Avignon, the market visit is in Les Halles, the big market there in the town center, and then you're going to a restaurant kitchen and experiencing a more professional environment. So they're getting a very different experience with each of these cities. And then also in Provence, going out into the local vineyards and doing a tour and tastings in Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Wonderful. I just want to know that there's some maintenance happening here. We apologize for that. That's kind of the ticking sound. It's a little bit annoying for us. Hopefully it's not too annoying for you. Megan, gastronomics. I'm seeing a theme here.
Yeah, we certainly love our food and wine at Avanti. That's no lie. So Gastronomic Wonders of France and Spain is a big itinerary. Paris and Bordeaux in France, and then working over through Basque Country, San Sebastian, and on to Madrid. Again, doing cooking class, doing some wine tastings, tapas tour, learning how to cook paella, which is very traditional in Spain. So lots of fun things to do on this itinerary. Then also in the Basque Country, we have Bordeaux and Basque Country Luxury Gourmet Tour, and this is officially done as a small escorted group with a maximum of 6 people, and they have 3 set departures this year, one in May, one in June, and one in October. But it can also be done on a daily basis privately. So the different prices, whether you want to do it with a small group and meet some other people with shared interests, or if you'd like to do it on a private basis. This one is really fantastic with a lot of lunches, winery visits, doing a chocolate workshop visit, a ham workshop visit, and then finishing off the tour with a dinner at a 3-star Michelin restaurant, which would be a special way to end your time in Europe.
And going to San Sebastian as well in Spain.
Yes.
That's really where I want to go.
So we have another small escorted group, again, maximum 6 people with 3 set departures, one in May, one in July, and one in October for southern France discovery. So this begins in Bordeaux and ends in Barcelona. So they're going all across southwestern France, seeing Cellar, seeing Carcassonne, which is magical. It includes a lot of things, more than what can be listed in the brochure or on this slide, but lots of visits to small villages, seeing castles, seeing the rundown Cathar castles, visiting Collier, which is a really cute coastal town near the France-Spain border, seeing the Lascaux caves. It's a very, very interesting itinerary packed with a lot of things each day. And again, you can do it as a small group or on a private basis.
So it's really easy to combine France and Spain.
Super easy to combine France and Spain. Even now the TGV from Paris to Barcelona, you can connect in under 6 hours. Daily, they have multiple trains, and with only there's 3 stops maybe, which is nice if you want to break it up. If 6 hours is too long, you can stop somewhere along the way, like maybe Nîmes, be my choice. Cool. So we also have in Colmar a 2-night wine discovery package. So staying 2 nights at this really sweet 4-star hotel in Colmar, right in town. The hotel backs up to one of the canals with individually decorated rooms, and then you do a full-day wine country tour with 4 tasting sessions. And we also sent a group of Avanti travel consultants to France and Germany this fall. They had a stop in Alsace and did a wine tour similar to this in Colmar, and they said it was the highlight of their trip, that they really enjoyed their time in Alsace. So that was great to hear, and they're really excited to be selling this package now that they've experienced it firsthand.
Yeah. And it's really a great way to combine France and Germany.
Indeed.
Easy stop. Just a little north?
Yeah, nearby in Champagne region, we have the Champagne Discovery, a 2-night package based in Epernay. So we do still have the Champagne package based in Reims or Rennes, but we also now have in Epernay 2 nights at La Villa Eugene, which is this really sweet 5-star property very close to the Moet Champagne house. And so you do a tour of that very large sort of commercial look to it. It's a beautiful building with very vast cellars, very interesting tour. But then in the afternoon, you do a Champagne Vineyards tour and visit a small family-run vineyard and cellar. So you get to see kind of both aspects of the champagne industry with, of course, a 3-course champagne tasting lunch in between, getting to get 3 courses with a different champagne each time. I mean, that sounds like a pretty fantastic day to me.
This is a high-end deluxe.
So more of a high-end. And then in Reims, we have a 5-star version similar to this and a 4-star version, too.
Good.
Yeah. Now down to south to Provence. We have several new packages in the Provence region doing slightly different things. So the first one is Hidden Gems of Provence. It's a 2-night package with extra nights available if your clients would like to stay longer. And they do a morning winery tour on site at the property, the Château de Saint-Martin, and then have a picnic lunch and then they have bicycles delivered to the property, and they bike about an hour to another winery and do tastings there and then bike back. If they don't want to do the bicycles, we can arrange taxi transfer, or they can use their own rental car if they'd like.
Cool.
Then we also have Provence Wine Discovery, which is a 3-night package based at the Château de Maison, which is famous for being the former residence of the Marquis de Sade. And here they have 5 winery tours, and they have 2 lunches as well. I like this package because the winery tours, they're very different. One visit is to a 9th century chateau, and then you're also going to a couple of different chateaux in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So it's very focused on wines and red, white, and rosé for the area.
In the Châteauneuf-du-Pape region of the Rhone.
Yes. Then we have Southern French Charm, and this is a 3-night package. Again, extra nights available if they'd like to stay longer. And it's based at Domaine de Clos, which is kind of on the edge of Provence going towards the Camargue area, so very southern France. And so it's close to Pont du Gard, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, very interesting old Roman aqueduct to tour. And then near Pont du Gard is the town of Nîmes, which I had just mentioned before. It's an old Roman city with what many people consider the best preserved Roman amphitheater that you can visit as well. And then at the property, doing a cooking class. So you learn how to cook a meal, and then you have for dinner what you cooked. So hopefully you learn well as a class. And then also having a wine tasting class with an oenologist. So learning how to pair wines with food and what is the difference between red, white, and rosé.
Cool.
And then one more to round us out, Provence Countryside Escape.
Provence crazy here.
It's a very lovely part of France.
Yes.
So this one is a little bit more active. You first start off with a village tour, and they go to this village that is famous from the book A Year in Provence, written by a British expat who lived in this area. But then also doing kayaking, and they go on a horseback riding tour, and then also just have a day free to relax at the property. It's with round-trip transfers from Avignon, but we could remove the transfers and put in a car rental if your clients are interested in driving and exploring some of the area on their own beyond.
A little soft adventure in there,
A
though.
little bit.
Light adventure.
Yeah.
So, but people can extend from Paris or anywhere really nearby.
Yeah, I mean,
Switzerland, whatever.
Yeah, France is really easy to combine with many countries in Europe. We talked about Spain. It's very easy to combine with Switzerland, with Italy, even going up north to Belgium and the Netherlands because of its central location. You can combine it with many things. And the train network in France is excellent with the high-speed trains. It's getting much easier to combine multiple cities. You could just do just France and still see all manner of types of towns and locations. And I wanted to say, it's not on this slide, but also in Provence, we do also have shore excursions from Marseille now. So you could easily do one of these packages before or after a cruise, or even many river cruises are starting and ending in Avignon now. It would be easy to do one of those flying packages before or after a river cruise.
That'd be cool.
And I was going to say, because I've done this myself, flying into, now I'm not one to say you skip Paris, but if you wanted to do Paris at the end, you can fly into Charles de Gaulle and take a train directly from Charles de Gaulle down to Provence, and it's very easy. So it's kind of an easy thing to do as well.
Yep. Cool. And then Gaby?
Yeah, so
España.
Yeah, Paradores. So this particular package is 8 days, 7 nights, with stays in all paradores in Spain, starting in Toledo, Now this, I'm not including Madrid as a pre-night, but obviously I think in this case it would make sense probably to start in Madrid, at least one pre-night there. It's a self-drive package, so you would drive to Toledo, which is really, really close, stay a couple of nights there, have a private walking tour with a guide to show you around. Once you're in Toledo, there's a lot of different things that you can explore in the area as well, so it's definitely a beautiful city. These are all stays in the paradors, which are the traditional paradors, because there are sort of newer paradors. These are the ones that are the old style. They're either former castles or abbeys, monasteries, that sort of thing. So they have lots of character, 4 stars, you know, very, very beautiful properties. So you would do 2 nights in Granada, again, private tours, including the Alhambra, and then 1 night in Ronda with a private walking tour of that city with the bull ring as well, which is actually the oldest bull ring in Spain. 1 night in Carmona, which is basically just outside of Seville, and then flamenco show in Seville, and then ending up in Mérida, which is actually in the region of Asturias, and it's actually, speaking of Roman architecture there, they also have a beautiful amphitheater there, which is actually very well preserved, and they have lots of things in the area that you can explore. So from Mérida, you can either finish to go back to Madrid or over to Lisbon, which the distance is pretty equal distance. It's about 2.5 hours from Mérida to Lisbon, or about 3 hours, I think, to Madrid driving. So you could go either direction there.
Great. Good on the Algarve too.
Yep. Yeah, so next in Spain is a taste of northern Spain. So this, again, probably would require a pre-night in Madrid as well. But from Madrid, they would pick up their car and drive to La Rioja and have some wine tasting there, which of course is, you know, renowned for their wines. Continue north over to San Sebastián, and then do a walking tour with also the funicular ride to get you up to the mount, and then a short drive over to Bilbao, where you would have a private walking tour where you can try some pinchos and tapas, and then 1 night in Oviedo, which is actually a really beautiful town, and then continue on to Santiago de Compostela to end the package there for 2 nights, and they would have the Alvarinho wine tasting. From Santiago de Compostela, you could either end the tour there, or again extend it over to Portugal and continue down over to either Douro Valley or Porto or something like that to continue on. So
this is just going along the northern area, and people could add nights as they please.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then Portugal, which is very hot right now. We love seeing all these people wanting to explore such a beautiful country. This is a kind of a short one. It's 5 days, 4 nights. It'll be 2 nights stay in Lisbon, some tours, panoramic tour with a fado show with dinner as well in Lisbon. And then they'll have a private car and with driving guide actually pick them up in Lisbon and drive them over to the Algarve, where they'll stay for 2 nights. And they'll have a few activities, one of them, or a few activity options, I should say, sorry. Either a dolphin watching in a natural park that's in the area. You can also do a snorkeling in the same natural park to look for seahorses. It's actually very famous for their seahorse colonies that they have there, which is really, really cute. So if you're into that, that would be an option as well. And then the driver would take them back to Lisbon at that point. So it's a 5-star. This is actually kind of aside from the dolphin watching, it's actually pretty luxury. You get 5-star in Lisbon and then 5-star in Algarve with the private car and driver.
Cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then we're going to go a little bit down along the Mediterranean to Italy and over to Tami.
Hello. So, as you've already heard, many new food and wine packages all over Europe. So, of course, where else? We have to do one in Italy. Over the past few years, we've created many new day tours in various cities all throughout Italy, cooking classes, wine tasting, gastronomic walking tours. So it was time we just put a package together. We have a new one called the Flavors of Italy. It's a 9-night package where you spend 3 nights in each city. So 3 nights Bologna, 3 nights Florence, and 3 nights Rome, full of food and wine experiences. So you can taste the regional specialties of all 3 different areas. So in Bologna, you'll have a gourmet walking tour where you'll visit some of the artisan shops, the chocolate makers in Bologna, do a cooking class with a lady named Rita. So in her apartment, learn how to make the famous Bolognese meat sauce and some pastas that are famous from Bologna. And then going down to Florence, of course, Florence has lots of famous food from Tuscany, so you'll learn all about the cheeses, taste the meats, the pastries, the Chianti wines, and then go down to Rome and do also dinner in a Roman home, which is one of our most raved about tours that we get lots and lots of good feedback. We have Barbara who does dinners in her home, so people really, really enjoy that. Of course, you'll taste lots of the local specialties from Rome, have some tiramisu, some panna cotta, beautiful desserts. So 9-night package where you have all the transfers included, lots of food experiences, and the train between the cities. So
they can switch it around as well.
They could also go in reverse, yeah. If you're coming into Rome first off, you can do it Rome, Florence, Bologna, of course, the other direction.
Maybe even to Venice.
Yep, go up north once you're in Bologna and visit the north. So. And then we have another new package. We were talking about the fact that we added Slovenia as a new country this year. So we have this Scenic Adriatic Connection, which basically connects 3 different very beautiful scenic areas. So starting in Venice, of course, Venice is on the canals, so very unique perspective to a city. And then have a private gondola ride with some appetizers, 3-course dinner in a local restaurant, and then head over to Lake Bled in Slovenia, which is about a 3-hour drive. So you'll have a private driver pick you up in Venice and take you to Lake Bled, where you'll spend a couple of nights. You can do some optional excursions there, or you can just relax and soak up the beautiful scenery there on the lake. And then you'll head down into Croatia, northern Croatia. The region of Istria is known for wine and truffles and beautiful hilltop country towns. So we have a variety of towns that we offer in Istria. So most of them are actually on the sea. There's the town of Revenge or Porec. So 3 nights spending there, and of course a private tour to go out and taste some wine and cheese of the region. So connecting 3 different countries in 7 nights. So of course you can add on a package in Italy before this and Croatia afterward if you want to make it even longer. But
so they go down to Split.
Yeah, go down to the Dalmatian coast after you visit the northern region of Istria would be perfect. Then we have northern Italy's hidden gems. We've had a lot of growth in southern Italy the past few years. In particular, the Amalfi Coast is busting at the seams, I should say. But the north, I think, still has so much potential. It's a beautiful area and lots to offer. So created a package just based on northern Italy here. Some of the smaller locations with maybe less tourists, a little more quiet. So this one is good for maybe couples, anniversaries, people who are looking for a little more peace and quiet. It includes an arrival transfer in Milan to Lake Orta, which is a much smaller, lesser known lake than Lake Como, for example. It's just a less than an hour ride to get to Lake Orta. So you'll have 2 nights there, private tour, go out on the boat a little bit, do a walking tour, have a bottle of wine in your room. This one includes private transportation throughout, so there's no driving or trains. It's a private transfer from Lake Orta to get you to the town of Gaby, which is in the Piedmont wine region. So you spend a night there at a beautiful, very upscale villa type of property, which has amazing food. So you have a dinner that evening and do some wine tasting because they are a wine producing property. And then the following day, picked up from Gaby and go to Portovenere, which is the town that is just one little town south of the Cinque Terre town. Very similar atmosphere, but a little more quiet. I love Portovenere and actually was just there in October, so got to experience it. I've been there before, but stayed in one of our newer properties, the Grand Hotel Portovenere, which is very, very beautiful. The rooms have views just like the one you can see in the slide. The restaurant has amazing food, probably one of the best meals I've had. So you stay 3 nights in Portovenere. You have the opportunity to go up and have a private tour of the Cinque Terre, so you can see all of the towns that are in the Cinque Terre, but evening is a little bit more quiet with less crowds. So this is 6-night package, just basically going through the north. If somebody wanted to extend on course, they could come down and go into Tuscany and keep going, or they could just fly out of Genoa would be the closest airport to get them back home.
So that was your best meal of your life?
Not of my life, but I think of this trip. I had two
okay.
top meals this trip. It's so hard when you're there for 10 days and you're eating nonstop to say that something is your best meal. But very, very good kind of gourmet cuisine there. So it was very good with fish and very fresh and delicious. And then we have a new package in Puglia. Puglia is a region that we've been trying to get more people to discover the last few years. It's kind of in the heel of the boot and not a destination that people would go on their first trip to Italy, but maybe with a package like this that is a small escorted group, we'll get some more people to go down there. So this is a 5-night package, very all-inclusive. So you have all of the hotel accommodations at very unique properties, one of which is in the slide here. So out in the countryside, you have like a villa-type experience where you're surrounded by vineyards and beautiful scenery. And this experience is 5 nights. It includes all of the breakfasts, all of the lunches, and all of the dinners throughout the package. So you don't have to think. You don't have to go find your food. Everything is very gourmet, and it's all included. So the package begins and ends in Bari, which isn't specifically mentioned in the brochure or on the slide, but begins and ends in Bari. So whether you're flying into Bari or taking the train from Rome down there, it's very easy to do. And you have a food and wine expert with you the whole time.
It's not that long of a train trip either, is it?
It's not. It's not. It's easy to get to. Easy to get to from Rome, and very good. This specific package does accommodate up to a maximum of 18 people, but since it's our first year offering the package, I think that realistically it will be a much smaller group. We have 4 specific departure dates in April, May, October, and November for this tour, so it does have specific dates.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I want to go. The Palio experience in Siena is maybe something you've heard about before. Very, very famous horse race that takes place twice a year in the town of Siena. It's something that the Sienese people live for all year round and can't wait for. You can see in the slide that it is very popular. Lots of people attend the race. There's one in July and one that happens in August. So this package is based around the horse race, but it includes more than just a ticket to go see a horse race. It's very inclusive experience, so you get some behind-the-scenes knowledge. You have 4 nights accommodations in Siena. You spend some time with 2 different guides that are experts on the horse race and the history of all the people and the traditions that go along with the horse race. So you get lots of inside information. You get to go to a dress rehearsal, so you see them, all of the contradas that are involved with the race talk about their traditions. They bless the horses the night before the race, so everybody's really pumped and excited. You actually get to go have dinner in one of their homes and feel the energy, feel them getting excited about this. So, and then when the race happens, you're not actually down in that crowd that you're looking at. We have booked some seats that are reserved up on a balcony of a lady's apartment. So you're in the shade in a seat and you're watching down onto the race, enjoying some food and some drinks in her apartment just before that. So
it's like the main plaza in Siena.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing too.
Yeah, they put the dirt down and they are racing right there. So it's a very specific, obviously very specific package, so you have to be there exactly at the right time. The 4-night package begins either on June 30th because the race happens on July 2nd. You have all of these other activities included before then, including a cooking class. And then the second one begins August 14th. So very specific, but very fun, very fun. And then we have this coastal countryside, which is something new. We have a lot of product already in Tuscany, lots and lots of packages and places to stay, but we've never really offered something in the Maremma region of Tuscany, which is on the coast. So we decided to find a couple properties over there, just in a different area of Tuscany. So we have a 3-night package, which we offer accommodations at 2 different properties. One is Tenuta La Badiola, and one is La Andana, 4-star Superior and a 5-star property, basically run by the same management on the same piece of land, surrounded by vineyards and cypress trees and very quiet, peaceful properties with an elegant spa. It's kind of like their resorts, but not on the grand scheme. They're very small, 33 rooms and 14-room properties, but they have lots of amenities. So they have a spa, they have Michelin-starred restaurant. They can offer and arrange horseback riding. There's walking trails. You can go bike riding. So feel like you're in the countryside. Very peaceful, but the coast is less than a 15-minute drive from the property. So you have the ability, because it comes with a car rental, you can drive up and down the coast and visit all of the coastal towns. And we do include one private tour, so you don't have to drive that day to get you into the heart of like Chianti and Tuscany, where you're going to do a Siena tour and wine tasting and enjoy a lunch in a little local restaurant.
Cool.
Yeah. And then another new package that we're doing, this is Lake Aseo, which is actually in northern Italy, in the Franciacorta wine region, so a different region than we have wine packages at the moment. We include arrival transfer from Milan, so it's about a 45-minute drive to this beautiful property, five-star relay in Chateau La Alboreta. You can see the property is surrounded by vineyards, wine producing. You'll enjoy 3 nights there with a private tour, very close to the lake, like 10-minute drive. So very peaceful atmosphere, wine region, lakes, and you'll enjoy a dinner actually in the kitchen with the chef. He's preparing lots of different things for you to taste, so unique experience there. Tuscan Charm, again, another new package in Tuscany. This one is based on the 4-star superior property La Oma, which is very, very small, 7 rooms, very cozy in the hilltop town of Pienza. Lots of experiences included in this one. You have a car rental to explore the region, cheese tasting at a local farm nearby, do a wine tasting in Montalcino at Nostra Vita, which is very, very cute family-run winery, and extra time to explore because you have the car rental included. So more Tuscany. We did a lot of expanding just because Tuscany is so popular and there's so much to see and do. So this is a short, just a 3-night package for people that are looking for something active. Hiking short break, so 3 nights. You spend the first night in the town of Montalcino, very cozy little town known for the Brunello wine, so excellent place to start. And then you will hike to Pieve Salti, which is a countryside villa and not far away. Of course, your luggage is transferred to the villa for you. And then you'll have 2 nights at the villa with dinners and breakfast included. And then while you're at the villa, we include an information packet, so suggested hikes depending on if you want a short hike or a long hike. So beautiful way to see the countryside if you're into getting active.
Cool.
Sicily Food and Wine. This is somewhat similar to the Puglia package I was talking about. It's an exclusive small group package. So you have 8 days with a wine and food expert. The tour lady that goes along with this group on the set dates is actually really, really into food and wine and has written several books, in fact, on Sicily food and wine. So unique properties. It starts in Palermo. You're going out down into the countryside. You stay at a wine estate, and then it basically goes all around the island and ends close to Mount Etna. Again, all your breakfasts included, all your lunches, all your dinners, lots and lots of tasting, street food tasting, cheese tasting, pastry tasting, chocolate tasting. So you will be very happy. It's a 7-night package, so it does have specific departure dates as well. 4 different departures, the first one in April, May, October, and November. So
great way to see Sicily.
Great way to see Sicily if you've never been. Our Sicily business is going up, so that's definitely an easy way to see it. Set departure with everything included. You don't have to think about anything. Just ride and eat. And then discover charming Cefalù. Cefalù is a coastal, cute little fishing village on the northern coast, about an hour drive from Palermo. We've never offered it before, so we just decided to put a little package around it. So we include this kind of as an extension package from Palermo, 3-night package. We have a private driver pick you up in Palermo. You can either choose to stay a night in Palermo if you want, or if you are not into it or have been there before, you can just leave right away. You'll have a tour of Palermo and Monreale before you actually go to Cefalù, so you will get to see the highlights of Palermo. Head out to Cefalù, stay 3 nights there in a cozy little 10-bedroom hotel that we have there, La Plumeria. And you have a lunch with a wine tasting and a private walking tour of Cefalù. So Cefalù is just gorgeous. I visited it also last year in April, and couldn't get enough. I only went for the day, half a day, and I didn't want to leave. So you're right on the coast. It's a nice sandy beach for people that want to go swimming, and definitely say it's a great new package. Malta, new country that we haven't offered before, a fairly small island, easy to get to from Sicily, but they do have an international airport in Valletta, so you can fly straight from the States. You can fly from many different locations in Europe if you want to come anywhere. We have hotels sprinkled in various towns throughout the island. It's a very small island. You can drive from one side to the other probably in an hour if there was no traffic, but I hear that there's a bit of a traffic during peak season. So Valletta, I believe, is supposed to be the capital of culture in 2018. So we have 6 different hotels. We have regular sightseeing tours, private sightseeing tours, and I think it's a great place to go. So Croatian highlights. We had quite a few packages in Croatia last year, but we added even more. This Croatian highlight package is a 10-night package for somebody who wants to kind of see all of Croatia, starting in the north, going south, starts in Zagreb in the capital city, goes through Istrian region into Opatija, so you see some coast and wine, goes down to Split, so you can see pretty much all the highlights. Split, you go out to Hvar, Korčula, so you visit a couple of islands, and then, of course, end in Dubrovnik, which is the most famous walled town. So all of the transportation is included, the boats, tickets to get out to the islands, and tours of all of the locations, including a stop at Plivice Lakes, which is a very, very beautiful inclusion there.
So we've got like 4 different cruises?
Yeah, for next year.
Talk about all of them kind of together and kind of
yeah, there's a lot going on. So we have 4 different cruise packages now. We started with one, the Dalmatian Highlights cruise, which we are still offering in 2017, which has the longest booking period. So that one is available April through October and departs every Friday. We have 4 different packages. They all depart on Fridays. They're 7-night cruises on small ships. They include the breakfast and the lunch and visit lots of different places. You'll see the highlights of Hvar and Korčula, which are the most famous islands, Split and Dubrovnik, and then lots of other smaller locations mixed in. This Adriatic Paradise cruise that's on the screen right now, for example, this one is a little bit unique in the way that it stops in Dubrovnik for 2 nights, and then you'll have a tour to go to Montenegro, which isn't included on the other one, so that's something a little unique about this one. They all have pre and post nights, so each one is a little bit different in the fact that we have one that departs round trip from Dubrovnik, one that departs round trip from Split, one that begins in Dubrovnik and goes to Split, and one that begins in Trogir, this one, and goes south to Dubrovnik. So
how many cabins are on there?
The small ships actually have only 18 cabins, so they're all going to be this similar type of experience once you get on the boat. 18 cabins and just 2 decks. So you have a main deck and a lower deck, and very small and intimate type of experience on the boat, and high service level because it's such a small boat. Yeah. So, and the dinners, you actually have the opportunity to get off in all the various towns, so you can go into the little local restaurants and have dinner in a different type of atmosphere. So, cool. Then we've got the Split Adventure, another active vacation for somebody that's looking to get out in nature and really see. Croatia is the perfect place to do that. Lots of gorges and waterfalls and unique type of nature experiences. So this package is based around staying 4 nights in the city, so in Split itself in a 3-star property. Have the transfers included, of course, and then each day you have a different type of experience. So 1 day sea kayaking, 1 day river rafting, and then 1 day of zip lining, which you can see.
That was pretty. That looks pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think the last new package we offer in Croatia is, again, something like Istrian. The picture here shows you the town of Motovun, which is a hilltop town known for people who want to get out and see, do some truffle hunting in the area. So you base this package on 3 nights at the Kastel Motovun. You stay at the property, have 1 amazing dinner with truffles, local truffles, a wellness spot treatment for 2. So again, maybe somebody who's looking for anniversary or honeymooners or just couples that want to get away and relax. Wine tasting is on the property, and then you have a private tour to go out into the countryside and visit some specific wineries and hilltop towns. And then you have a car rental at your disposal to go see the other places in Istria as you wish. So,
kind of a romantic escape.
It is a romantic escape, exactly. And then again, Slovenia, which we talked about previously. This is another photo of Lake Bled. see how picturesque it is. Basically, we're just offering hotels in Lake Blood, in the town of Blood, and in Ljubljana, the capital city. So easy to squeeze in between stays in Italy and Croatia.
Cool. And back to Megan for
Yeah.
Switzerland.
We're
And
gonna-
food again.
Food again, shocker. So we're going to pop over to page 120 in your brochure to Switzerland. 2 new packages I want to tell you about. Swiss Food Discovery, combining Lucerne, Interlaken, and Montreux. And what's really special about this is Mount Rigi is a mountain near Lucerne that's kind of known as being very popular with locals. It's where the Swiss like to go when they want to have a mountaintop experience. They tend to go to Mount Rigi, and then you have a fondue lunch while you're there on the mountain. Then in Interlaken, doing something called a Swiss tavolata. That is what the dinner in a local home is, and that is when you go to someone's home that's also a working farm, and you help make dinner, and then you eat dinner. You can do a tour of the farm, see the animals if you want to do that, and we include transfers to and from the home for that. And then in Montreux, doing the Lavo Express, which is a little like a wine tourism train that they've created. The Lavo wine area is UNESCO protected site and very beautiful on the shores of Lake Geneva with some really outstanding wines. And what's interesting is that in Switzerland they don't export their wine. They keep it all for themselves. So you probably will be tasting wines that you wouldn't have a chance to elsewhere. And then also on the Riviera in Montreux is a special 2-night package staying there in the town and then doing a private tour of Chillon Castle, which is pictured here on your screen. And then from Chillon Castle you can take a boat ride on the lake and down about an hour or so, do some wine tasting. And then also included is a private tour of the newly opened Charlie Chaplin Museum. He lived in a small town between Montreux and Lausanne. And they've just finished the museum last year. It's located on site of where his original home was. And it's very special, lots of memorabilia from his time, and it would include lunch there at the museum.
Cool. And then over to Chris.
Hi, yes.
It's all yours, Chris.
All right. I have a couple new packages in Germany, starting with the highlights of Germany, highlighting the most exciting cities, in my opinion, of Germany, of Frankfurt, Berlin, Dresden, Nuremberg, and Munich, with city tours in each city, as well as first-class rail between cities. And these can be done in either order, as well as you can always extend stays in different cities.
Or add nights.
Or add nights, yeah. And then the new one I'm really enjoying is the Beers of Bavaria, starting off with 2 nights in Munich with a 3-course dinner and a Bavarian beer tour. Then it goes to 3 nights in Nuremberg with 2 private day tours from Nuremberg by rail. First one is to Bayreuth, where you experience the Mosel Beer World Tour, which is a huge brewery/museum in Bayreuth. So you go through the museum, see how the beer is made, taste the local beer in Bayreuth. Then the next day, going to one of my favorite cities of Bamberg, and you do a smoked beer sampling, which they're famous for their smoked beer, which is interesting. After the first one, it's okay. The second one gets better. The third one's okay. The more you drink it, the better it tastes.
Ralph beer. And they could also flavor all those different sausages as well.
Of course, yes.
So can't have beer without sausage.
No. And then another new town of Weimar, which is in the Thuringia state. It's about an hour car train from Leipzig, about 2.5 hours from Nuremberg. So it's 2 nights in the town, staying at a fantastic 5-star property hotel, Elephant, with a city tour and the 1 dinner with daily breakfast. And the hotel can be booked by itself. You can extend it. I also have Bauhaus museum tour as well from the area.
So lots to see and do in this area.
Mm-hmm. Another new one is the Royal Bavarian Beauty. So staying 3 nights in Munich with the 2 private excursions, one to Neuschwanstein and Linderhof, as the other one is to the Herrenchiemsee, which is about south of Munich. Fantastic castle on the river, on the lake.
Cool.
New one for Austria is the Best of Austria, combining the 3 cities, Vienna, Salzburg, and Innsbruck, with a city tour in Salzburg and Vienna and its concerts, as well as a Swarovski Crystal World entrance in Innsbruck. And then again, first class rail between each of the cities. And this again can be done in reverse order. It can be done half of it if you want to add more nights onto each city. That's completely fine.
Yeah. And they could even go to Budapest or something.
Of course, yeah. And speaking of, it can combine the two countries, so Austria and Hungary, doing the Salzburg, Vienna, and Budapest. And here we have a city tour as well as a dinner and concert in Salzburg and Vienna. And then in Budapest, having a folklore dinner show. And again, this can be combined in either order. Then while in Vienna, we have a new package, the food and bike in Vienna. So this has the 3 nights accommodations in the city, the city tour, culinary walking tour, and you can have a 4-hour bicycle rental, so you can go explore the city on your own. If you want to extend that to have more days on the bicycle, completely optional, completely up to you, as well as a orchestra performance. Then in the Czech Republic, we have a new package, the Prague and Olomouc.
Yep.
Which has 2 nights in Prague with a dinner, beer dinner, and river cruise. Then second-class rail between Prague and Olomouc, where you have a private walking tour, 1 night, overnight, and a dinner. This can be extended to do more nights in each city. Now going to Iceland, which is super hot right now. We have the intriguing Iceland, which is a 6-night package. First 3 nights are in Reykjavik with a glacier hike. Then you pick up a rental car driving not too far away to Fludar, which is in the Golden Circle area. So if people don't want to do a traditional tour on a coach tour, they can do it all on their own, going to see the geyser pictured next to it. Then driving up to Akureyri in the north. And then while they're there, they can do the Northern Lights tour. So this package does only run September through April because of the Northern Lights.
But they can do it without Northern Lights during.
Of course, they can do it in the summertime, do the midnight sun. Another one is the Reykjavik and Southern Iceland Adventure, combining 2 nights in Reykjavik with a city tour, picking up a rental car, driving south to Vik, where they have a snowmobile ride and a glacier hike. So it's more active for more people who are more millennials, more people in the active.
Yeah, more soft adventure.
Soft adventure, exactly. Then moving on to Denmark, in Aarhus, which is the 2017 European Capital of Culture for this next year. So we have 2 nights accommodations with a private walking tour. Again, this can be extended to do more nights in Aarhus. It's only about a 2.5-hour car/train ride from Copenhagen, so it's easy to be done combining it.
They can go up north as well.
Yes, and if people who have been to Iceland and maybe not got to see the Northern Lights, you can always go to Norway. Tromsø, which is about an 1.5 to 2-hour flight from Oslo, above the Arctic Circle. It's beautiful countryside up there. They can either do it in the wintertime and do the Northern Lights, or even the summertime to do the midnight sun.
Oh, that's right. And voila, thank you. So we're going to take a little bit more time. We're at an hour, but I know that a lot of you have some questions here. And it sounds like we had some sound issues early on, but we're all good now. So, you know, this is a common question that we get a lot. We have a lot of driving options here. You know, can we get an automatic car? And, you know, everybody's nodding their head around the table, yes. But the earlier you book, the better your chances are, because as a lot of people from the States travel and a fair amount of closer-in bookings, you know, as you get closer to the travel date, it gets harder to find an automatic car because they have a finite amount.
And I should also clarify that the size of the vehicle makes a big difference as well.
Yeah.
You know, you might be hard-pressed to find an automatic van, for example. So, you know, and if you pick up from, you know, larger locations like, you know, Heathrow Airport, obviously the fleet will be much bigger, and then if you pick up in a small town like, you know, Inverness, for example. So
it could be tough.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, let's just, I think it's important, you know, we got a couple of questions here with regard to some of the options You do have a fair amount of Outlander.
Yeah, we still have, even though it's not featured in the brochure, we actually do have a package in Scotland called A Land That Inspired Outlander. So that's still actually for sale for next year. I know there's a question in here also about where they stay for some of these packages in Scotland, so I actually didn't get a chance really to talk too much about that. With a lot of the ones that we sell, it's actually based on availability. We have the cities pre-chosen in terms of where they'll stay, but the actual properties where they'll stay are based on availability, and usually we'll tell you at the time of confirmation where it is. So just wanted to clarify that as well.
So as far as that North Coast 500 is concerned, it's a driving program.
It is.
It starts in Inverness.
Inverness.
Most people are going to start in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, yeah, at the very least. I would say start in Edinburgh. It's worth it just to stay there a couple nights anyways. I wouldn't skip it. And then, there's train service, which is a little not high speed. It's a little on the slow side up to Inverness, but it is possible. Or you could pick up your car in Edinburgh and drive up to Inverness, and it's a very nice drive.
Entire loop back to Edinburgh.
Exactly.
We've covered the automatic car thing, but maybe just talk quickly about, a little bit more with regard to, the packages themselves. These are not, these are guidelines or of itineraries, right? I mean, they can modify these to match their clients' needs. And
almost every package can be modified in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the small escorted ones.
Yes, obviously.
Yes, but
anything else that I see.
I mean, and these small escorted, they're small vans. It's not 50 people on a big huge bus, so they're able to go in the really cute, quaint towns and stuff like that. There's a couple of questions here. I'm just going to cover it all together. Some great questions. We do offer a 20% off travel agent discount for everything that we provide with regard to land, not the airfare or anything like that. We do have bulk airfare contracts, stopovers and stuff, so something you can take advantage of. As far as familiarization trips, we do some every year. My biggest recommendation would be to book a ton of Avanti, and we'll see what we can't do for you. And I think we talked about some price breaks as far as packages and stuff are concerned. This is all really FIT. We're an FIT tour operator. When we bundle these things together, there are some small, short excursions where it is bundled, and to break it up, we'll make it more expensive. But predominantly, it's just combining things that we do day in, day out through our reservations, and the product managers are kind of bringing stuff in to highlight a region or highlight an option that we're excited about, and that we think really adds value or will add value to your clients' vacations. There's a couple of good questions with regards to air, and I think we don't have our air product manager here, though Megan did oversee it for a while. We have stopovers, I think, which is huge. Yeah. I talked about that, but maybe talk just a little bit about getting people, open jaws and stuff like that.
Yeah, with our air contracts, we have many of them, and what's special about them is the stopovers, which you mentioned it. That's not something that a lot of times you can do on published fares. It's something special to contracted tour operator fares. So it's easy to combine multiple destinations. If somebody wants to go, say, to London and then somewhere else completely different, like Italy or Spain, they don't have to buy a separate ticket in between. They can fly into London. We can go London to their next destination. let's say London, US to London, London to Rome. Then they do an entire Italy itinerary, and they fly home from, let's say, Venice. We can put all of those flights, Venice back to US, all in one ticket. The beauty of that is then you have the same luggage. For checked luggage, you have the same rules, let's say, or allowance on the ticket. Whereas if you buy a published ticket, then you have to just go with their allowance, which is similar to us in the States where you have to pay for the luggage. So there's an advantage for that, having it all done on one ticket. You can put our contract air on hold typically for a fair amount of time as opposed to published air being instant purchase. Our net fares are also commissionable, which
up to 10%?
It is
On the base fare.
10% on the base fare, which is not really normal these days in the industry either. And then open jaws, I think most people are aware now, but every once in a while I still hear someone say, oh, and then they want to go back to the city they started in so they can fly home. You don't have to do that. Often an open jaw ticket is going to be less expensive than doing a round trip ticket because you get to combine fares. And maybe the new city you're going to fly home from has a lower fare than your arrival city. You get to combine the fares and have a better ticket price. So mention, if you have someone doing a really complex itinerary, we do try to do the trains because train travel is more convenient most of the time, but there are times that they're going to have to fly. They either have to fly or it will be shorter for your clients to fly than to take the train. And just tell the Avanti travel consultant the full itinerary. A lot of times we can work something out on the net contract on your international ticket, and then you don't have to have a bunch of different reservations.
And we talked a little bit about the travel consultants. It's our reservation staff, and there's some good questions here with regard to how to get that professional information that you're getting here in this webinar today. That is available 6:30 to 5:30 Pacific time, Monday through Friday, with our reservation staff. So, if they have, if you have difficult questions from your clients that you can't answer, typically they'll be able to answer that question. They get the similar questions day in, day out, and of course, sometimes you'll have some specific requests that we'll have to do a little bit more digging, but they're your first point of contact, and they are very knowledgeable. In fact, most of the people sitting in this room have been a travel consultant.
Oh, that's
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, there's some good questions here with regard to, the times in between as far as the hikes and stuff are concerned that you talked about. Maybe give her a little bit more information on that hiking short break.
On the short break in Tuscany,
Yeah.
It's an easy, we have different packages for really expert type of hikers that want to do more challenging, intermediate types of hikes, but this one is, I believe, it's less than 5 miles, but it also can be tailored to people that just want to do even less than that, because the luggage transfer picks up the client's luggage in the morning after breakfast. So if the client say to the driver, oh, I only want to walk 1 mile, he can drive you 4 miles down the road and let you walk shorter. But it is fairly easy, but enough to get some nice views and enjoy a short walk. So nothing too strenuous for sure.
Oh, here's a good question, Chris. Oktoberfest 2017.
Yes.
Bookable?
We book the hotels. The tickets usually are not available to the end of May, mid-June. So I will have to wait to get the tickets to actually the 10th then.
So just talk quickly about that. They basically request a ticket, and then we put it in the booking.
Once we have the allotted tickets, we contact each of the bookings that have booked Oktoberfest during that time, and we ask them if they want to purchase the tickets.
And this is how much they are.
Exactly. Yeah, and we won't know until end of May, mid-June.
Yep. All right. Cool. Good to know. Good to know.
Can I say something about the Croatia cruises?
Yes, please talk about. There's a fair amount of questions. I was going to get to that one next.
So just to answer again about the size of the boats, they are small ships, so 18 cabins on all of the packages. So very, very small boats, and it's not done through a specific company. They're actually chartered out by a supplier that we work with in Croatia. So they book all of the cabins for us on those, and there's 4 different packages, like I said, and they're all up on the website ready to book. They all depart on Fridays, and the 3 new ones have a shorter travel time. They're actually available from June through October. So.
We have a couple of questions with regard to Iceland, and the one question is it easy to drive in Iceland?
It is very easy to drive, yes. They usually just have one road that goes around the whole country, and it's very easy to drive around.
It's hard to get lost.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then they do drive on the same side as we do.
Correct. So, I mean, if your clients can drive around anywhere in Europe,
they can definitely drive around.
They can drive around in Iceland. Iceland is part of Europe.
I would think the traffic would be pretty light, too.
Traffic.
Just watch out for cows and sheep. They are prominent on the road.
All righty. So, you know, I think there's a good question here with regard to you know, some of the other maybe soft adventure stuff that we're not really looking to provide at this point in time. You know, customized ski trip is a good question. I mean, I would ski or snowboard in my case, definitely in the Alps in Europe, but it's kind of not something that we're focused on. I think if you really want to get your clients tickets and all that stuff, there's other tour operators that are really focused on skiing, their specialty. So, you know, I would get in contact with them. All right, well, I think we've answered all of the questions. I'll kind of go through this with the product team afterwards to make sure nothing was missed. I know we went 15 minutes over, so those who are still on, really appreciate it. For those of you who are not, we'll be sending you an email. Actually, we'll be sending an email to all of you, even if you registered and you're not on this webinar. So I really appreciate everybody's interest. We're really excited overall with regard to Europe. It's doing really well this year. There's some hot new destinations. These guys work hard to produce some really cool product. I'm excited about marketing it, and hopefully you're excited about getting your clients out to new destinations and new areas that we haven't offered before. So thanks a bunch, everybody. Any last words, y'all?
No,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfecto. All right. See you next time.